on the southeast coast of China, and the west shore of the Taiwan Straits, lies a blessed land with lush mountains and lucid waters, Fujian. The warm, humid subtropical oceanic monsoon and a forest coverage of up to 66.8% create the best preserved ecological region of its latitude worldwide. Fujian has a coastline of 3,752 kilometers, a land area of 124,000 kilometers square, and a sea area of 136,000 kilometers square. Magnificent mountains echo with passionate seas here. There are 2 global geoparks, 5 World Heritage Sites, 11 Class 5A scenic spots in 10 places, and 18 state-class nature reserves, as well as China's first ecological civilization experimental zone. Visitors to Fujian will immerse themselves in its distinctive culture, such as Fujian culture, Hakka culture, Matsu culture, Master Ju culture, Maritime Silk Road culture, and shipbuilding culture. It is also home to prominent figures such as Zhu Si, Zhang Chenggong, Lin Suoxu, and Shen Baozhen. The oolong tea, white tea, and scented tea produced in Fujian are famous home and abroad. Uyi Da Hong Pao, reputed as the best tea in the world, features a slight fragrance. Anqin Tai Guan Yin is noted for its strong fragrance and sweet taste. As one of the 8 most famous cuisines in China, Fujian cuisine features a fresh taste. Visitors to Fujian can also experience the charm of cultural heritage. 8 items have been put on the representative list of the Intangible Cultural Heritage of Humanity by UNESCO. A province that changes with each passing day, Fujian is creating a tourism brand to serve people from around the world. 10 classic travel itineraries are scattered around the province, composing a captivating landscape painting. We hereby recommend to you 5 travel routes: Tea Tour, Tulou Tour, Ancient Lanes Tour, Maritime Silk Road Tour, and Countryside Tour. Welcome to Fujian, where you can enjoy an unforgettable trip amid picturesque mountains and rivers on this blessed land. Recommended Itinerary 1, Blessed Land of Ecology. Tour the world capital of tea, enjoying a unique tea culture tour.
The first route we designed for you starts from the famous Mount Wuyi. As one of the 4 World Cultural and Natural Heritage Sites, Mount Wuyi is a must-visit destination.
Mount Wuyi is noted for its beautiful Danxia landform. For tourists to Mount Wuyi, rafting on the Nine Bend stream is the most favored travel program. The stream has a total length of 9.5 kilometers with steep peaks and picturesque landscapes on the way. Tourists can raft down the clear stream while enjoying Danxia landforms. Mount Wuyi boasts an average annual temperature of 18.2 degrees Celsius and plentiful rainfalls, which makes it an ideal place to grow tea. Thanks to the efforts of the locals, rock tea produced here reaches perfection in technique and quality. and becomes an icon of Chinese tea worldwide. After a dozen complicated steps, such as fine manipulation of green tea leaves, Wuyi rock tea can emit an indescribable scent. The four most famous kinds of rock tea, Da Hong Pao, Tia Luhan, Bai Ji Guan, and Shui Ji Gui, are particularly precious due to their distinctive flavor and scarcity. Of them, Dong Ho Pao, made of tea plant leaves growing on a steep cliff, is called the king of tea for its long history, unique environment, and unparalleled quality. The time-honored tea culture won Mount Wuyi a fame of Kingdom of Tea. You can visit a tea garden on a misty day in early spring, waiting for farmers to pick fresh buds. You can randomly choose a quiet tea house to sip a cup of fragrant rock tea. And watch Chabaishi, a performance dating back centuries. In this way, drinking tea becomes an interesting artistic behavior. When night falls, you can watch the tea-themed outdoor landscape show, Da Hong Pao Impression. The dreamlike show enables you to experience both tea culture and art. Now let's leave northern Fujian and travel all the way eastwards to Pingnan in Ningde City. Here you can see a rare geological wonder in the world, the shallow water square called Baishuayang. If you visit here in midsummer, you must not miss the Baishuayang water games. After getting rid of the summer heat on the Baishuayang water square, let's continue our journey eastwards. The next stop of our tea tour is Fuding. Here, local people will present you with a cup of white tea, which is completely different from Wuyi rock tea in taste. Mount Taimu in Fuding fosters the unique charm of white tea. Adjusted to the East China Sea, Mount Taimu is almost shrouded by sea fog all year round. No tourist would regret visiting the mountain. Let's turn south to visit Fuzhou, the home of jasmine tea. Local people like a kind of scented tea. Tea leaves are treated with jasmine flowers, a local specialty, and this kind of tea thus has the strong fragrance of jasmine. The last stop of the tea tour is Anxi in southern Fujian, which is far from Mount Wuyi. Here we can taste another kind of classic tea, Anxi Jie Guanyin. Jie Guanyin is the best oolong tea. Ancient Chinese scholars showered this tea with praise, saying that it absorbs plant extracts. A small tea leaf can create a sweet flavor and lasting fragrance. It is the taste of sunshine, land, and time. Of course, it is also the taste of culture and history worthy of experiencing carefully along our trip. Recommended Itinerary 2, Blessed Land of the Hakkas, Tour to Tulou. Along the trip, you will see a gem of traditional Chinese architecture, Tulou.
The starting point of our second route lies in the southwest Fujian. More than 1,000 buildings with various styles are scattered here. This building, called Tulou, are built by the people of Han nationality from the Central Plains to avoid the attacks from bees and robbers.
The first stop of the Tulou tour is Nanjing. Here tourists will be impressed by Tianwekeng Tulou Cluster, which has been listed as a World Cultural Heritage Site. It consists of 3 round Tulou and an elliptical Tulou encircling a square Tulou. Viewed from above, the Tulou cluster appears like a huge plum flower on the ground. Those Tulou buildings listed as World Cultural Heritage are dubbed wonders in the history of architecture. Usually they were skillfully designed so that residents can gain safety and comfort. With a history of more than 200 years, the Hugway building in Nanjing has 5 stories. Astonishingly, the building was constructed on a soft swamp without any fixed pile foundation. However, it still stands firm. From Nanjing, we continue the trip to southwestern Yongding. Here, the Tulou clusters of Hakkas comprise another museum of folk residences. The world's largest round Tulou, the Chengxi building, is located here. Each Tulou building represents the high level of traditional architectural aesthetics and techniques. The Tulou buildings in Yongding feature particularly exquisite carvings, which demonstrate their masters' aesthetic taste and carry the morals and ethics passed down from generation to generation. The building material of those solid ancient fortresses is unique, a mixture of clay, glutinous rice, brown sugar, and bamboo sheets. Owing to the wisdom of local ancestors, this material makes the fortresses solid, durable, and economical.
The owner of Tulou are the descendants of Hakka people immigrating from the Central Plains thousands of years ago. They work hard, respect teachers and education, and value cooperation. From the Shibi village in Ninghua County, Sanming City, Hakka people reach out to the world. It is the last stop of this trip.
Shibi village in Ninghua County, Sanming City, is the spiritual home of Hakka people around the world. Each year, nearly 1 million Hakka people from both China and abroad come here to trace their ancestral origin. The memories of the Hakka community are reflected in their residential buildings and immersed in their festive celebrations and food culture. If you visit a Tulou during an important festival, an opulent feast will show you the hospitality of the Hakka people and their time-honored cuisine culture. For example, fermented tofu, a renowned Hakka snack, is quite different. This tofu is mixed with minced meat and then fried. The diverse ingredients and skillful mixtures make local food have varied tastes. This perfectly reflects the culinary wisdom of the Hakkas. Recommended Itinerary 3, Blessed Land for Residents, Tour to Ancient Lanes and Alleys. This is a trip to discover traditional Chinese culture and life.
The third route starts from Fuzhou, the capital city of Fujian province. With a history of 2,300 years, it is also the political and cultural center of Fujian. Meanwhile, it is home to 3 lanes and 7 alleys, so it is the most powerful demonstration of the lifestyle of officials in ancient China.
3 lanes and 7 alleys preserve the grid-like straight layout of ancient China. On both sides of the straight central axis, 3 lanes and 7 alleys radiate elegantly. More than 1,000 years later, the neighborhood can be hailed as a museum of Ming and Qing architecture in China. Lining the lanes and alleys are ancient official residences. The layouts and design styles of those residences manifest the prestige and aesthetic taste of their original owners. Some even have unique functions. In a courtyard hidden in Yijing Alley, for instance, stands a specially designed building on the water.
This is Waterfront Pavilion. In ancient China, officials watch Chinese opera here with their families on special occasions like weddings or birthdays.
3 lanes and 7 alleys have witnessed more than 100 eminent figures that cast significant influence on the history of modern China, including Lin Zhu, who advocated opening up, Shen Bojian, the founder of the Chinese Navy, Yan Fu, an educator, and Bing Xin, a modern Chinese writer. Therefore, it is said that 3 lanes and 7 alleys witnessed half of the history of modern China. Roaming along the ancient lanes and alleys, one can be immersed in a strong cultural atmosphere and experience the primitive beauty of the capital of Fujian. In Fuzhou, locals are also proud of 2 cultural landmarks, Shangjiahang and Kuliang. Shangjiahang is an ancient commercial street that remains bustling today. Once the most important wharf in Fuzhou, across the centuries, Shangjiahang witnessed booming trade as the cradle of Fujian merchants. Many traditional shops, guild halls, and banks still stand beside the Xing'an Bridge by the river. Hidden in the high mountains in northern Fuzhou is Kuliang, a renowned summer resort. As early as more than a century ago, the place had attracted numerous foreigners to escape the summer heat. The story of Kuliang is still alive and popular today. Fuzhou people's ultimate pursuit of aesthetics in everyday life is reflected in their rich, elegant cultural life and their choice of food. Since ancient times, Fuzhou dishes have been noted for carefully selected ingredients and elegant appearances. All local dishes enjoy a high reputation, be it common food or opulent delicacies. Fuzhou people is dedicated to traditional craft aesthetics. Oiled paper umbrella, oxhorn comb, and bodiless lacquerware are hailed as the 3 treasures of Fuzhou. Of them, the most famous handcraft is bodiless lacquerware. It takes nearly 100 steps to create such brilliant lacquerware. Shoushan stone carving is another time-honored sculpture art in Fuzhou. A kind of precious stone endemic to Fuzhou, Shoushan stone features diverse colors and is as smooth and lustrous as jade. Sculpture masters in Fuzhou design and carve their works that perfectly combine exquisite techniques and natural texture. Fuzhou is China's capital of hot springs. It abounds in hot spring resources, sipping a cup of jasmine tea, bathing in a hot spring hidden in mountains, or watching a Fujian opera performance. You can spend a joyful night in Fuzhou. Recommended Itinerary 4, Blessed Land on the Sea, Recreational Tour of the Maritime Silk Road. The trip will enable you to experience China's long-standing oceanic culture. The 4th recommended itinerary to travel in Fujian starts in Xiamen, which takes pride in its modern international airport. The city has many scenic spots, of which Xiamen University is a must-see tourist attraction. Xiamen University is a century-old higher education institution founded by Mr. Tan Ka-ki, a prestigious patriotic overseas Chinese businessman in modern times. The university boasts coastal scenery, featuring gentle waves and a white beach, making it a popular destination for tourists from both home and abroad. Not far from Xiamen University is the South Putuo Temple. This millennium-old temple is a famous holy land of Buddhism in China. Looking beyond the university full of vitality, we can see a magnificent statue of an ancient Chinese general on a reef close to the shore. He was a patriotic hero 4 centuries ago, Xiang Chenggung. Behind the statue is Kolengsu, a small island with the richest cultural and artistic flair in China. Starting from 1902, 13 countries established representative offices on the island. These buildings of various styles, constructed a century ago, have become part of the World Cultural Heritage Site and earned Kolengsu the reputation as a museum of world architecture. A century ago, the piano was introduced to Kolengsu. Since then, Kolengsu has become an island with music. The romance makes Kolengsu a fairyland. A stroll around the island makes you experience the unique charm of this international livable community.
If this is your first visit to China, you may have no idea that a super maritime trading city as influential as today's New York and Tokyo was seated in the southern coast of Fujian in the 13th and 14th century. This is Quanzhou, the largest oriental port back then.
Back to Quanzhou Port, more than 1,000 years ago, it was just like what Marco Polo described. The port is bustling and hustling with numerous merchant boats and people. Porters at the ancient wharf were transporting the 2 most popular products of southern Fujian, De Hua white porcelain and Anxijie guanyin tea. Quanzhou has many historical legacies recording the stories of common prosperity and harmonious coexistence of different civilizations. The Qingjing Mosque, the oldest Islamic shrine in China, the Qiwan Temple, a millennium-old sacred place of Buddhism. A variety of cultural relics are scattered around Quanzhou. It is said that the traditional lifestyles of Quanzhou are concentrated in West Street, especially in the early morning. Prepare a bottle of Kung Fu tea with the sound of morning bells from the east and west pagodas. This has been how Quanzhou people start the day for centuries. Renbing, sonce, thin noodles paste. These local delicacies wake up your taste buds. Roaming through narrow lanes and old buildings in West Street, tourists can experience the slow-paced life. At dusk, touching the stone balustrades of the Luoyang Bridge, we can feel the city's glory and elegance. As an ICH, Nanyin is a traditional music favored by Quanzhou people. It is hailed as a living fossil in the history of Chinese music. With the migration of local ancestors, this ancient art form gradually spread around southern Fujian. It retains ancient cultural traditions in both instrumental performance and singing style. Among traditional art forms in southern Fujian, the marionette is a representative of Quanzhou and a famous ICH. In the hands of experienced performers, those string puppets are true to life. Driving all the way eastwards, we can reach the third stop of this itinerary, Meizhou Island in Fujian. This is known as the birthplace of Matsu, the goddess of the sea. Matsu has more than 300 million followers around the world. Meizhou women, who are famous for their diligence and beauty, also live here. They usually wear sail-shaped chignons and costumes with wave patterns, which shows their veneration for the sea. On festive occasions, they dress up and cook tasty red balls to pray for a happy life. Roaming around Meizhou Island, tourists can find clues related to Matsu everywhere, especially in the Uwei Divine Rock Garden. Departing from Meizhou Island, we will arrive at the last stop of the trip, Pingtan. The stone houses here feature black-tiled roofs and streamlined saddle-shaped gables which dominate the skyline. The famous Kuzhou Archaeological Park in Pingtan houses many unearthed cultural relics. They remind people of the history of Austronesian ancestors bravely exploring the ocean 7,000 years ago. On a summer night, young tourists can play with blue waves on the beach. Recommended Itinerary 5, Blessed Land of Rural Folk Life, Tour to Seek Happiness in the Countryside. You will enjoy an easygoing and cozy trip in rural Fujian. Across mountains, we visit ancient villages and towns in Fujian. The flame of household kitchens shines a light on the simple but peaceful everyday life in the countryside. As the source of food for Chinese people, paddy fields convey aspirations for a stable life. In Lianhe town of Youxi County, Sanming City, there is one of China's 5 most enchanting terraced fields, which can provide you with a special perspective to explore China's traditional farming culture. The Lianhe field dates back 1,300 years. In the season for spring plowing, the terraced field, with an altitude difference of 700 meters, grows lush crops. Over 1,000 layers of farmland look boundless. In autumn, when the harvest season arrives, rye paddy rice dyes the terraced field into dazzling gold, composing a picture of unmatched beauty. Traveling in the countryside, you may encounter fantastic folk customs from time to time. In Moyang Town, Fujian's Jiuning County, there is living an ancient ethnic minority, the She people. Across millennia, the She people have dwelled together in their villages and preserved a unique way of living. If you visit a She village on the 3rd day of the 3rd lunar month, you'll have a chance to attend a grand sacrificial ceremony. Listen to folk songs and feel the local people's hospitality and passion. You can also join them in weaving and embroidering, thus incorporating the colors and motifs of beautiful flowers in all 4 seasons and singing birds in the forests with colorful She costumes. traveling the countryside of Fujian, tourists can encounter lots of surprises along the way. As you arrive at Longtan Village in Pingnan County, Ningde City, you'll meet a place rich in art encircled by hills and streams. Many modern oil paintings can be found everywhere in the ancient village. Those works were drawn by local farmers. The improvised works by rural artists helped Longtan Village go viral on the internet. Here, tradition and modernity set off each other, enabling tourists to enjoy the leisure and freedom of local peaceful life. If we continue the trip eastwards from Pingnan County along the lengthy coastline of Sancha Peninsula, we'll reach Dongbi in Shapu County. Entering the village, one can see numerous fishing boats shuttling along the vast sea. You can book a seaside B&B to enjoy the natural scenery. In the village facing the sea, tourists can enjoy blooming flowers with the arrival of spring. At dusk, the setting sun dyes both the clouds and the sea into gold. The evening glow shines on the beach, which is the most beautiful moment of the day in Dongbi Village. The gorgeous landscapes make the village a paradise for photographers. Everyone visiting the village will be intoxicated by its scenery. The tour to Fujian is a journey to experience everyday life. From mountains to the sea, people in all the places we visit live a simple but happy life.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Welcome to Fujian.
Welcome to Fujian.